So, Kevin, you brought up a new term for the audience here, sharp power. You mentioned sharp power in the paper. We started off mentioning smart power. So what's sharp power all about, and who wields sharp power?
Within the context of our paper, I'll let James follow up with this because this is pretty near and dear to his heart. But within the context of our paper, in this case, peer competitors like China, Russia are those wielding sharp power. And the National Endowment of Democracy defined it as enabling authoritarians to cut razor-like into the fabric of a society, stoking and amplifying existing division. So in this case, it could take the form of China expanding its Belt and Road Initiative across Africa or through Pakistan, using their infrastructure bank to exploit local economies on the continent of Africa for that matter. But I'll let James kind of follow up with the details on that one.
Yeah, this is James. So yeah, sharp power, it's a pretty new concept that's out there, but I think it's something that we've seen in a while. So I think the previous incarnation was known as soft balancing. And what sharp power really comes from is the fact that U.S. and our allies still remain the largest power brokers in terms of hard power around the world. So even though our competitors are starting to make some small incremental, or actually not small, but some rather large incremental gains at hard power levels we still remain, and with our allies and alliances, the predominant hard power in the entire world. And furthermore to that point is, and if you look at this as well, it's the economic interdependency between the U.S. and our competitors is so much ingrained after such a large period of high globalization following the 80s and all through the 90s and early 2000s that an actual armed conflict would be very detrimental to all parties. So we have these system-level deterrences in place. And if you look at Joint Doctrine Note 1-19, so this is actually in doctrine. We are in a part of something called a competition continuum. And of those three legs of the competition continuum, one of them is competing at levels below conflict. And that's really where sharp power comes in. So what it is, it's manipulative, it's precise, it finds areas where there's instability that you can use micro-level inputs to get macro-strategic-level gains. And this is being wielded by China. One can look at their three warfares, the strategic psychological operations they utilize, the overt and covert need manipulation, and the exploitation of natural and international legal systems. Also, the Gerasimov doctrine by the Russians. And you can also look at some of the regional actors out there as well. So Iran's use of the militias throughout the Shia Crescent, it really highlights this as well. So this is something that is out there. It's still being studied and manifested, but it's really being operationalized by our opponents who don't want to meet us in a hard power contest and instead are trying to utilize the seams, the gray areas, and compete with us at levels below conflict. And that's really where CA, and this is the big part of our paper, can come in and really make a difference in identifying where sharp power is being executed and also finding where its vulnerable populations on key strategic areas might be, as well as coming out with our utilizing all elements of national power and a smart power methodology to counter it.